Did you ask the Attorney General for the authority to appear?
We did not, Your Honor, and I would...
And we did not. You are not appearing for the people, I assume.
Your Honor, we are appearing on behalf of the county clerk, who have direct responsibilities to issue marriage licenses, just like the county clerk.
The court fight over California's same-sex marriage ban turned into a sparring match.
Sponsors of Proposition 8 argued with the three-judge federal appeals court, saying they do have legal standing to challenge a lower court ruling that the ban is unconstitutional. Here's a live look at the hearing now before the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. And outside the court, protesters on both sides of the issue have kept things lively. Our Terry McSweeney is there and joins us now live. Terry.
All morning long, you had the no on 8 people on this side of 7th Street here at Mission and the yes on 8 on that side. But just a short time ago, all the no on 8 people went up to watch the proceedings in the overflow room on the monitors, leaving the yes on 8 people to run the show down here at street level. In the courtroom, the arguments are underway to see who exactly has standing to represent those who believe marriage is between a man and a woman.
Why don't you say you don't know the answer?
I don't know the answer, but I don't think the case turns on that.
It doesn't matter whether it turns on it. When you're asked a question and you don't know the answer, say so.
Outside the federal courthouse on 7th Street and Mission, a different sound. Before today's proceedings, a rally against Proposition 8 with all 4 plaintiffs.
We're upholding a decision that's based in truth, that was based in the district court's decision that Prop 8 is unconstitutional. And 2, we get to watch Ted and David defend that decision here.
On the other side of the street, another side to the issue.
The Bible says God created man and woman. That's the way God created the union.
David Boies, the man who came out on the wrong end of the Bush-Gore election battle, believes he'll come out on the right side in this battle.
This is a constitutional question. If every decision was left up to the voters, you wouldn't need a constitution. No vote can take away fundamental rights.
Prop 8 supporters say the real losers in all this could be the voters in California and the democratic process.
Californians debated this for months. Millions of dollars were spent, and they understood what the arguments were and the nature of what was happening, and they voted their collective voices and minds on a very important decision, and they put it in the Constitution, and that's not something we just toss out.
Just so much disagreement out here in the street and in the courtroom, but there is one thing that both sides agree on, that this is not the end of the road for this issue. Possibly 2 years from now, it's going to end up in front of the United States Supreme Court. Live in San Francisco, Terry McSweeney, ABC 7 News.
All right, Terry, thanks very much. Well, for some legal analysis right now, we're joined by ABC 7 legal analyst Dean Johnson, and I was really struck by the judges and their hostility.
Yeah, the question of the morning is who, if anybody, gets to speak for the people of the state of California? And all 3 justices are peppering both sides with questions. The proponents of Prop 8, they're asking, well, Elizabeth Vargas is a deputy clerk in Imperial County. Does she have the authority to speak for the people when the Attorney General and the governor don't? On the other hand, if the Attorney General's not here, who does speak for the people? Who will speak for those voters who supported Proposition 8?
Why do they seem so harsh, abrasive?
I think that they are wrestling with this issue. It's a difficult issue. There are cases going either way. There's no definitive case that presents exactly this fact situation that anybody can point to. And in fact, Charles Cooper, the lead counsel for Proposition 8, said, Judge, I don't think there is a case on point. I think this case today that we're arguing is the case that's going to make this law.
Well, they could do it narrowly or they could do it nationwide. I think there's so many ways that judges could rule on this.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons the judges are so interested in this standing issue is it's a very good way to exercise judicial restraint, to say, since we don't have the state officials before us who can talk definitively about state policy, perhaps this is not the case where we should decide this huge cultural issue.
So when do you think a decision will come down, and when that decision comes down, does it automatically go into effect, their ruling?
No, not necessarily. I think the decision will come down in a couple of months. It won't go into effect probably unless and until the case is resolved by the Supreme Court. I think the stay on same-sex marriage that is in place now will stay in effect until this case is finally resolved.
I don't know if I heard this right, but I think one of the judges was saying, well, why are you here in federal court? Why not keep this in local court, state court, rather?
Well, actually, Judge Reinhart was saying there's an issue of state law here. If California would confer standing upon the proponents of Prop 8 under their law. Why shouldn't we? And maybe we should go and ask the California Supreme Court, what is California law? And if they could certify a question to the California Supreme Court, the Supreme Court could then answer that, and then they could proceed from there.
Well, both sides say if they lose, they will appeal. So what's the next step?
The next step would be for the losing side to request what we call en banc appeal, which is a review before the entire Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. And from there, the losing side would take it to, we think, the Supreme Court, where we believe certiorari would be accepted. The Supreme Court would agree to hear the case.
But nothing, you don't anticipate anything happening very quickly. Everything seems to move in the snail's pace.
No, this is something that, believe me, this is moving rapidly for a federal appeal of this magnitude, but relatively speaking, it's going to take a couple of years, which seems like a long time.
All right, Dean, thanks very much. And by the way, we are streaming Proposition 8 proceedings live on our website with our attorney here, and Dean Johnson, ABC7News.com, also with Eric Thomas, is hosting that. So we hope you'll join them for that.